And here we are out of eclipse season into the first full moon post-eclipse season, and it's going to be happening on April 12th at 23 degrees Libra. Overall, in this full moon, there's a lot of third and sixth line energy, which really talks about the idea that this might be more of a material expression of the energy, because the third line for sure is considered the most manifest of all lines. It's also the most mutative. So those might be themes that we might see for this particular full moon. It's very interesting that the sun is in gate 42, line 3, and also the earth and moon are in gate 32, line 3. So what we're bringing together is abstract energy or living life, and also the tribal energy of gate 32. Tribal energy is very much about the mundane needs. What this really talks about is the concept that we are looking at the needs that we have for living everyday life. We are looking at the things that we need to feed ourselves, to have shelter, to live a life on planet Earth as manifest beings. And so that seems to be the biggest focus for this full moon. Am I going to be supported? Am I going to continue to be able to support myself based on what's happening in the world around me? And we continue in gate 36, line 6 until this will be the last lunation where we have gate 36, line 6. And then it's going to move into gate 36, line 5, 4. And it will move a lot faster as it moves into the different lines. But this is basically the crescendo of this energy. And when you look at gate 36, line 6, this is a powerful energy in that it is talking about making decisions and not always seeing the consequences or the things that may show up or not really caring about it. And that is the nature of experience. We don't really know what we're going to get. And so the biggest message that gate 42 is telling us with the sun activating it is this idea of sometimes we have a lot of dreams and goals that we want to make manifest, especially with Pluto in gate 41. It's this idea of the biggest dream that we could ever imagine for our life forward. It is the initiating codon. It is the beginning of all things. It is abstract energy. It is life. It is life. It is the real tangible perspective of life. And when we look at human design, the two energies that are most concerned with the actual process of living life are tribal energy and also abstract energy, abstract collective energy, because one is about what do I need to support myself? How do I need to take care of my body? How do I need to take care of, my body's needs? And with abstract energy, it is about getting out into the world and doing the things that I always do. And sometimes a lot of those things that I always do are just basic wash, rinse, and repeat. In a lot of ways, we look at that as being terrible. This concept of, oh, I have to do the same thing every single day. But that is the process of life. And it is interspersed with these moments of gate 36, these new experiences that we've never had before. And so I think if we look at from the time of January, the end of January, when the nodes moved into gate 36, until sort of this full moon, I think a lot of people could say maybe it's been very chaotic. Maybe it's been too much of this newness, this unexpected, not really knowing what we're going to get. Bring me back that whole idea of the wash, rinse, repeat. Maybe I'll be okay with that because this isn't turning out the way I thought it would. And so this is really showing us this perspective of a lot of times we kind of ignore or don't value the regularity of life. And when we're looking at gate 42, again, we're looking at this perspective of maximizing benefits, endings, closings, or sometimes building on the base of something that we already have. Every experience in our life is something that we want to build on. We want to build on that cycle of what I just completed, and I want to continue to build on that particular cycle. Or maybe I feel like I've had enough with that cycle and I want to start something brand new. When we combine this with gate 32, line 3, we're talking about this lack of continuity. And so it says that we've met a block where the things that we've always been doing, the regularity of life, it's not actually giving us the results that we want. And what that is saying is that the only thing that endures is change, and that is the key phrase for gate 32. And what that says is that in order to continue to maximize benefits, to get the things that you want out of your cycles, to get the things out of life, It is essential to change things, to move in a new direction sometimes, because that is the only way that things will shift. But it's also telling us another thing. It's also telling us that there are moments in life, there are moments in the world, there are cycles that we are in where we kind of come to a standstill and we're kind of treading water for a little while and we're not really moving forward, we're not moving back, but we're sort of in that standstill. And I think that is a place where a lot of us just want to quit, get that we can get frustrated, we can want to jump out of that cycle, we can do a lot of things. But what this is saying is that that is a natural part of life. It is a part of every cycle. It is part of everything in our world. This is giving us a huge opportunity to look at the cycles that we have begun. And it could be something that you started in March, or it could be something that you started earlier in the beginning of the year, or it's some type of cycle that you began. And it gives you a time to sort of reevaluate it and say, what is it that I want from this? I can end it if I want. I can maximize the benefits, get more out of it, continue on with this cycle, or I could even start a new cycle based on this cycle. It's also a time where you look at the things that you may have done that you don't really think were conducive to moving forward. And that is okay because that is how we learn. This is bringing back this whole third line process that we're talking about for this particular full moon. It is the third line that tells us, okay, this worked, this didn't work. So I'll do more of this and less of this next time around. And that's basically what that information is telling us. It is not a time to say, I made a mistake. I can't do it right. That is not what it's here for. It is for us to see what are the nuggets that we can discover within the cycle, within what we've done so far. What would do we do that we want to do again? And what don't we want to do again? And this is a time with this full moon to basically look at what you can use in your future and let go of the rest. It's really encouraging us not to get sort of stuck in that mud of should have, could have, would have, as opposed to this. So this happened. I will accept what it is and I will move on and do the things that I feel like I want to do going forward. It can also be this mistake, especially with Gate 32 featured in your career, in the things that you do for work, whatever you do for abundance. It could be bringing up the theme of maybe you feel like you failed at something. But again, this is not ever about failure. This is about sometimes we have to stop. This is part of life. Life has moments where it's not always moving. If you have an engine that is continuously moving and it never ever gets a break, eventually it will break down because we know that you can't continue to cycle through over and over again. And especially with human bodies, we need to have a break so that we can move into the next phase of whatever our process is. And this is getting us prepared or getting all the details you need for the next cycle, for the next part of your cycle if you want to stay on the same cycle, but really reconfiguring and saying this goes, this stays, and moving forward with it. And it also says that even if you feel like you really haven't gone very far with whatever you're doing, which with whatever goal that you're sort of searching and striving towards, it may not be necessarily what you think it is because the reality is life doesn't always show us every little detail. There can be these incredible things that pop out of nowhere and suddenly it's like, wow, this is happening. I didn't even know that. And that was always happening in the background, but I had no indication of what was happening and how it was going to shift my life. I always liken this to a dog, that sits on the couch and watches you go to work. And you see the dog in the window as you leave. And when you come home, you see the dog in the window waiting for you to come home. To imagine that that dog was in that window all day just waiting, not moving at all is unrealistic. We know that that dog was moving around, and that is what life is about. We're always having a shifting of energy. The energy is always moving in different directions and we never really know until it kind of just shows up. What's really interesting is we also have Saturn in gate 36 line 4 for this particular full moon. And this is talking about very important information that we can get from the world or from people or from anything that is very advantageous for our future. So, especially for this full moon in the 2 weeks going forward after between the moon phases, might be a really great time to sort of be really open and aware for anything that somebody's saying that might be valuable. Pay extra attention because there might be something that you hear or see or read or something that is very instrumental in moving you towards the next step in your future. Again, because it is gate 36, this is experiential energy, this is living life. This is connected to cycles because all abstract energy is connected to cycles. It's just part of the process. So that is something to really keep an eye on. That might be to your advantage. So if we look at Saturn from a global perspective, we also can combine it with Mercury in detriment in gate 36, line 6, and also the North Node in detriment in gate 36, line 6. This does bring a potential for a global nervousness, this kind of like something's kind of niggling, something's there, not really knowing what it is. With Saturn in gate 36, line 4, this can be talking about information that is covert, information that is hidden, information that is very valuable, that is released in some way, secret information that can help us going forward in the future. With Saturn there, it could be about the economy, it could be about world leaders, it could be about the government, especially with the Earth and Moon in gate 32. This is talking about financial information because gate 32 is one of those big tribal energies that is fully connected with businesses. So this could be covert information about businesses, but in some way, this information getting out into the world is advantageous to some people. It may be advantageous to you. It may be advantageous to people who we don't want to have the advantages, but no matter what, this information has a potential to be released into the collective, and we might see that play out in the real world. And this information could be related to sort of the end of February, some events happening the end of February. That's when Mercury was in gate 36, line 4. It could be also related to the end of January 2025 when Venus was in gate 36, line 4. And if you want to go back a little bit further, you can go back to the end of January, sort of January 20th, right until February 19th, 2024, where we might get some covert information about events that were happening at that particular time, because that's when Neptune was moving through gate 36. And if we move back to the moon and the earth in gate 32, line 3, this is sort of talking about potential people worrying about some level of recession, economic downturn, those types of things. Keep in mind that gate 32, line 3 is called lack of continuity, which means things are not advancing as they should. And it's a lot different than if it is a personal process. This is a global process. So we know the way the world is built, the capitalism that the world is built on, continuity and always getting better and always getting bigger is one of the key engines that drives every economy. And so if that is not happening, then there's questions about the stability of it all. And then if you look at Venus in gate 36, line 3, that's bringing it into the whole financial perspective. Also with Mercury in gate 36, line 6, again, Mercury is connected to the stock market. So we're looking at all those types of things. The Venusian perspective of financial information. We also have Mercury with the stock market. And you combine that with gate 32 and also gate 42, where the sun is. Gate 42 is the end of a cycle. It is also talking about mistakes that were made potentially that have led to lack of continuity. This is all sort of bubbling up to the surface. And as I said, with Saturn in gate 36, line 4, covert information, information that people in high places or the powers that be, I like to say, don't really want people to know about may come out. And finally, we have Mars in gate 56, line 2. And this is really an interesting energy as well, because this is talking about a story that has been created. Now, with Mars, it's a story that's been created about potential wars, conflicts, a story created by yang leaders or masculine leaders. It is a story that is created to give an illusion of what is happening, although it's not the truth. And this is where this veneer falls apart and the world starts to see the truth beneath the veneer about these particular leaders, what their real goals, what their real intentions were. And so this might be another part of an explosive influx of information that nobody in power wants the regular folk to have. And I think that will be interesting to see how it plays out on the world stage. And Pluto in gate 41 line 2 is sort of the truth, because in human design Pluto is always considered the truth. And the truth that Pluto wants to tell us is that take care of yourself, put your oxygen mask on first. And if you have extra when your oxygen mask is on, well, certainly you can help whoever you want to. But ultimately, you have to take care of yourself first before you do anyone else. And that is the message that Pluto is giving us right now. This is a theme that we will see continue to flow. And I've already seen that happen where countries are saying we will take care of ourselves. And that's really who we have to put our energy into, because that is where our focus is at this point in time. And with that said, I hope you have a very peaceful and inspired full moon. And until next time, take care and bye for now.